Hello everybody and welcome to episode 208. My name is Adam and today I'm going to be taking you through the Drupal Optimizely module. If you're not familiar with what Optimizely is, you can head on over to optimizely.com. From there you can learn that it is an A/B testing tool, which basically allows you to test different elements on your website, and then Optimizely has a lot of reports that let you know the effectiveness of those changes. So you could change different elements, HTML elements, different CSS elements, whatever you really want. They do give you a full control over that, and then they give you again results based on what those changes mean. So it really allows you to test and really fine-tune your website. So today we're going to be looking at that specific service and also the Drupal Optimizely module. But before we jump into all that, again, make sure to head on over to codekarate.com if you're not already there. Make sure to check out everything we have going on over there. We have over 200 posts on Drupal and coding. We'd love to let you experiment and learn from all of those different posts. Also, if you head on under the homepage, you can sign up for our 30-day Mastering Drupal course. Again, in 30 days, we send you one email a day. We're going to take you through all that you need to know about getting started and really taking your Drupal development to the next level and striving to become a Drupal ninja. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to do is go on over to the Optimizely module on Drupal. Again, this module integrates with Optimizely. Again, Optimizely is an A/B testing tool. The really powerful thing in which this module does is it allows us to only load the Optimizely JavaScript on the pages in which we specify. The major benefit of that is by default, Optimizely is going to load its JavaScript file on all pages. But if you use this module, it will only load the JavaScript on the pages that you are actually testing against. So it really helps with speed on your website as you're not loading a script tag that you're ultimately never going to use. So make sure to head on over there and download the Drupal 7 version of that. I'm using 2.17 for this video. So go ahead and get that module downloaded and put onto your site. And also another thing you're going to need to do is head on over to optimizely.com. I already have created an account for Code Karate, but you'll want to go ahead and create an account as well. The account is completely free. They do have a paid version as well, but you can just create a free account, and then once you have that set up, you'll be able to continue with this video. So go ahead and either pause the video and get those things installed, or just continue on if you already have Optimizely installed and the Drupal Optimizely module. Alright, so once you have the module installed, again on your site, you're going to want to go ahead and enable that module. So we can search for the Optimizely module. I have already turned mine on and enabled. And from there, there's a couple different things you can do. There's a configuration section. There's also an individual permission for Optimizely. So if you do have multiple roles on your site and you wanted only certain roles to be able to configure with Optimizely, you could specify that. For this video, I'm not going to worry about that, but I will hit configure to set up some Optimizely configuration. The first thing that you're going to need to do is get your account information linked up with Optimizely. So what we need to do is we need to go find our Optimizely ID number. So we head on over to Optimizely again. Once you create an account, if you navigate under settings, you'll see that there is a account number listed right here, or project ID they call it, same thing. You're going to want to grab that information. That's what links up between the two. And once you grab that information, you go back over to your configuration page and go ahead and pass that number back in. So again, that is the tracking code that's going to speak between your Drupal site and the Optimizely service in which you signed up. So go ahead and submit that. Once you have that submitted, that's really the only configuration that you need to do to link the two together. The next thing you need to do is you need to add a project. And now a project is the same as an experiment in Optimizely. Basically, you're just linking the two again together. So if we jump back quickly to optimizely.com, you'll see here if I go under my overview section, I have two different projects, or what Optimizely likes to call experiments, already created. So what I need to do now is I need to tell my Drupal site which experiment I want to use and then where I want that experiment to load. So if I click on this, if I look at the URL up here, you'll see that I have, after my experiments, I have a unique ID number for each one of my experiments. So I'm going to grab that ID number. I'm going to go back to my configuration page and I'm going to set up a project. So I'm going to say, and then I'm going to put in my project code there. And then I'm going to specify whether I want it enabled or disabled. Well, I want this enabled. And then I can select the path in which I want this snippet to load. Now again, by default, if you left this blank, it would load on all pages, which seems like okay, but if I'm only testing one page, for example, if I want to test a button color on a certain page, I don't necessarily need that to load on every page that the button's not on. So instead, what I want to do is I'm going to say, I only want this to load on my page called test. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. Oh, okay, so so you can only have one project code per thing. So if I tried to cheat it and create two. I've already created one before the video. So I'm going to go ahead and just look at that one. Again, it's going to look very similar, folks. I just had one created because I wanted to test to make sure this all worked. But again, I gave it a project title. So again, what was happening was you can only have one unique project code for every one of your projects, and I already was using that one. So again, same thing though. I paste that number in, I have it enabled, and I only want it to show up on my test site. So I'm going to go ahead and OK that. So you can see it's green. By default, when you download the module, there is a default one loaded, which loads on all paths. As you see, there's a wildcard. So again, you can load it on multiple pages as well. So if I go back to update, if I wanted to load it on other pages, I can just specify that one by line by line. This methodology works exactly the same as like block visibility rules and things of that nature. But I don't need to change anything more. So now that I have it enabled, and again, I'm linking it to this specific experiment on Optimizely.com. Then what I can show you here is if I go to a home page, or I go to a page that wasn't test, and I pull up my developer tools, you'll see here that I don't actually have the script tag loading, which is what you would expect to see because remember I specified it only to load on the test subpage. So under my script section here, you'll see there's nothing getting loaded for Optimizely. But if I go back to the test page, and you see there I've loaded the test page, and I scroll into the head section to the script area, you'll see right there that my Optimizely JavaScript is now getting loaded. But again, it's only getting loaded on the /test page and no other pages based on the selection that I selected when creating the rule. So that's exactly what this module does, and that's really all that it does. So again, all the configuration with the rules and goals and everything is done through Optimizely. So definitely you'll check out Optimizely, learn how to configure that. I'm not going to spend any time doing that today, as in that's a completely different service, and there's plenty of tutorials, and they actually walk you through how to create your first goals and how to work with that. But again, guys, it's very important. Again, we're using it roughly in the last week. We're loving it. We're testing a bunch of different elements on our website. For example, if you go to codekarate.com, we're testing the different button color for signing up for the 30-day email series, seeing which button will convert better. Just little things like that, and all of this stuff does matter. If you can get a little better opt-in, it makes a difference. So I definitely recommend you trying the Optimizely service out on your own site, and let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments below if you've been using Optimizely or using a different A/B testing tool. I'd love to hear about that. Also, before we go, make sure to connect with us on social networks. We're out on Facebook at Code Karate, on Twitter at Adam Laring and at smthomas3 for Shane. I'd love to hear from you there, as well as any modules you want to see us reviewed. Make sure to send us an email at connect@codekarate.com. We'd love to hear from you there. All right, folks, thanks again for spending some time with me today. We will talk to you later. See ya.